Hi everyone, I'm here with a video on OET reading. Reading is one of the most challenging modules when it comes to OET, and this is an opinion that many students have. So in this video, I'm going to teach you a method or a strategy that you can apply in solving reading part C. And I'm sure this is going to make many of you happy, as most students find reading part C a very difficult nut to crack. So here is what you can do to ensure that you easily find the right answers in reading part C. First of all, it's very important to understand what involves or what are the kind of texts that you'll come across in reading part C. Part C of reading will have texts that are more academic in nature. It might be a presentation or it might be a paper on a recent study or research. So when you have information in detail, that means there would be a lot of things that you really don't understand. Well, relax. You don't have to understand every word in the text. So what do you need to do? You need to understand what kinds of questions are asked in reading part C and what is the approach you can have to solving these questions. In part C of reading, you will have for one particular text around 8 questions, and each question will have 4 options. You have to choose the right answer option. This is where the challenge lies. Now, many of you might find that it is easy to ignore 2 of the options given, but maybe the 3rd and the 4th option might look really similar. Now, how do we zero in on one of these options? Well, this is what you can do. The first thing that you should do is make sure that you're reading the stem or the question given to you. Remember, in reading part C, the question takes you to the particular paragraph where you will find the answer. And it is mostly in the same order. For instance, the first question for text number 1 of reading part C is based on the first paragraph. Or you will have a clear instruction given in the question that says, according to the first paragraph, according to the 3rd paragraph, which means you clearly know where to look for to find the answer. So once you read the question, you need to then go to the passage.
Medcity OET app. Learn OET listening, reading, writing, speaking, and OET related grammar at your own convenience. Download the app now.
The particular paragraph where the question points at. For instance, if the question says, according to paragraph 1, you need to go straight to paragraph 1. But before that, make sure you read the complete question. Let's have a look at an example. In the first paragraph, the writer suggests that physician involvement in sports doping. Now we have the options here, but let's ignore the options. Make sure you understand the question properly. Underline the key terms as required. Here the key terms are, the writer suggests physician involvement, sports doping. Now this is an example of a sentence completion question type, which means the answer options given, one of it would complete the sentence. So once you read the question, you have a vague idea of what to look for in the paragraph. Now, what most of you would do is read the paragraph, right? So let's do that. Let's have a look at the paragraph. This is the first paragraph and the text says physicians and drugs in sport. So this is quite a lot to read, but let's read all of it. And as we read the paragraph, let's underline the key terms that we find here. After years of doping scandals involving elite athletes such as cyclists and sprinters, the major role physicians have played in these doping cultures has received much less attention than it deserves, especially in medical circles. Physician involvement in these illicit and often medically dangerous practices will seem counterintuitive to those who associate physicians with the task of healing and the injunction to do no harm. One rationalization for physician-managed doping is a lesser harm argument, since an athlete may not possess the self-discipline or knowledge to limit their intake of doping drugs. It is the physician's responsibility to exert some control over this and thereby limit medical harm. What such physicians do not understand is that at least some of these athletes will top off their medically sanctioned doses with drugs they obtain illegally on the black market. See, just like how I have underlined the key terms as I was reading the paragraph, you should also do the same so that it becomes so much easier to come back to the paragraph as you read the answer options later. Once you've read the paragraph, you need to come back to the answer options. You're going to read options A, B, C and D one by one. As you read the answer options, make sure to underline the key terms that you find. Look at this example. Option A has been conducted irresponsibly. B has been well-intentioned but misguided. C received more attention than it deserves. D succeeded in reducing the potential dangers. Underline the key terms as you read the answer options. So what do you think is the right answer to the question? Option A is in the right answer because the writer doesn't suggest that the physicians have behaved irresponsibly. He suggests the opposite, that is, they feel that it is their responsibility. Option B can be considered as a right answer, but let's first try and eliminate option C and D. Option C isn't the right answer again because the writer makes the point that the issue has received much less attention than it deserves. Option D can also be eliminated. The writer points out that the dangers may well remain the same. For example, when drugs are acquired illegally on the black market. So the right answer here is option B. The main point in this paragraph is that physicians who become directly involved in sports doping often do so for the best of reasons, believing that lesser harm is done. But the writer points out that they may be wrong, which means misguided, because they do not understand that the athletes will supplement these with further doses obtained illegally. That's how option B is right. This is the most popular method that I'm sure many of you out there might be following. Well, now I'm going to show you another technique that you can apply. Try it out, and if you find that it is really useful, I'm sure this will help you in finding the right answer every time you solve reading part C. So here is a small change that you can make to the approach that I've just explained. First, let's read the question. For the entire video, download Medcity OET app, available on Play Store and App Store.